Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connecticut at your service. My name is Carmen Nieves, and I serve as your host. And we come to you live each Tuesday where we feature individuals that are making a difference in the community through their work with a purpose. And I have to say, one of the greatest things that I love is that I get to go out into the community and meet individuals that are making a change in their own lives and making a change in the community and really thinking about something bigger than themselves to make a difference. And this is no exception. I met Jason Henriques, who is the general manager of Row House, at a BRBC event. Jason, thank you so much for being here today, and I'm so excited to have you here. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
So tell me, we met at a BRBC event, so I know that you recently became the general manager over at Row House. So tell me a little bit about what Row House is and kind of your journey to kind of get there. And we have a few little pictures that are going to surprise our audience, so I'm excited to show those. But tell me a little bit about you and kind of like your journey.
I would love to. Yeah, I've been the general manager of Row House just for about almost a year and a half now. I started there as a coach. And my whole journey, you sure want a whole thing? We might need a longer show.
Listen, we're here, tell it.
My journey has been so rewarding, and I've gotten to meet so many people along the way that, so I'll give you the quick rundown of the whole transformation of my story. About 8 years ago, I weighed over 360 pounds. I was a 56-inch waist, and man, my whole life was completely different. I didn't really take care of myself. My health was all over the place. I had herniated discs in my back. I had a bad knee. My shoulder was messed up. I had all types of stomach issues. And I was asthmatic my whole life. And my little son at the time, he was about 3, Wyatt, we were playing on the floor. Because yes, all the time I had to be on the floor playing with him. You know what I told myself all the time? This is normal, right? I hurt, I have aches, I have pains. But he looks up at me and he says, Daddy, when I get big like you, I want a big tummy like you. And right then and there, that completely broke me. That was the wake-up call I needed. And kids have no filter at all, and it was perfect timing. Because I really believe that we have to be in a place to be able to accept that and be able to want to work on ourselves. Because we can have people that tell us all the time, right? Like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. But until we say yes, nothing ever changes.
Or you're ready.
Exactly, you have to be ready.
There's got to be some kind of motivating factor. One of my friends, Karen Kaufman, was one of the guests on the show that we were talking about kind of manifesting, like you have to see it, you have to be ready for it, yes. You have to bring it. And one of the things that we were talking about is how after the new year, you are our last guest for the month. And as I mentioned, we've been having things about decluttering your mind, you know, your house, all these different things. And it's really important to start with all of that. And actually, the next day that your son said that, what did you do?
I got up. I cleared out everything out of the house that was not healthy. And then I started walking. I put him in a stroller. Yes, I know he was 3, but I put him in the stroller. We lived by the beach, and I would push him to the beach. And we would end up walking between 3 and 12 miles a day. So right then and there, I just started thinking just one step at a time. Right, it wasn't about that last final thing of where I needed to be, but just starting. And sometimes just the hardest thing to do is to just start.
And keep going because you can get unmotivated. I think that this is such an incredible, I'm going to pull up the before and after picture. So this is kind of like you were when you were at your heaviest, right? So tell me a little bit, is this Wyatt?
That's Wyatt down there. As I said, we used to play on the floor all the time. You know, I would have to sit on the floor and play with him. And that's about the extent of it. I was tired all the time. I was out of breath if I tried to play too long. And the other photo there was of me and my wife. We went on a cruise, and that was probably my heaviest point. And looking back on that, you know what, I'm so thankful for that guy in that picture. Because, you know, we always want to look back at the past, but we think of our past sometimes as that anchor that we drag. But if it wasn't for that guy, in that picture right there, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I would never have that motivation to constantly look back and say that I'm grateful for where I was because it brought me to where I am.
I just think that that's incredible. And you mentioned your wife. So it's you, your wife, and you have 3 children.
Yes.
And you have kind of like a really cool kind of meet-up story. So tell me about that, because were you that heavy when you were in EMS?
I wasn't that heavy.
Okay. So tell me about how you guys met, and make sure you give her some love.
Oh, she is everything to me. She is one of the biggest, best things that ever happened to me in my life. And I will tell you the story of how we met. So we used to work in EMS together, and we were applying for a paid position. I already worked paid in EMS in the city of Bridgeport, and we were in Shelton. We volunteered together. And we were volunteering, but there was a paid position open, and we had to go and interview. And it was at the firehouse, and I'm walking up the stairs of the firehouse, and I see this beautiful woman. And it was almost like you would think in the movies, right? I saw her hair flowing, like the light was coming through the window. I'm not even kidding. I can still see it right now. She was wearing a purple shirt. She was wearing gray pants, and she was wearing the absolute wrong shoes for this type of job interview. And I looked and I said, that's the woman I'm going to marry. That's the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. We didn't talk before this, but I just knew it right then and there.
What's her name?
Maggie.
Maggie, see, I got you, girl. I got you. Remember that.
And she knows this too, but you know what? She wanted nothing to do with me right then and there.
No.
Nothing. And after a few months of working, we had to work together one shift, and the shifts were 6 hours at a time. Well, that evening, we worked together, but that evening, the overnight crew, they called out. They couldn't work. So they needed somebody to stay. Well, me and Maggie were getting along so well, we decided to stay. And let's just say that was almost 18 years ago now.
And that was
it.
She stayed ever since.
That's it.
I think that is so great. So I know that we have like another picture that I want to just show, because you've been a coach, you were with EMS and you've been a coach.
Yes.
And actually that's how you were offered a job at Row House, right? So share a little bit about what's going on. And I see that family is in here, which I love.
Oh, my family is everything to me. And, you know, at that moment when I was at my heaviest and my son said, I want a big tummy like you, I knew right then I'm not being the proper role model for my kids, for my family, for those around me. And as I started to change my life, you know, I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew everything, right? Because I'm a man, right? I'm going to starve myself and I'm going to do a whole bunch of cardio. That's how I'm going to lose weight. But of course, those are the wrong things. That's the first thing we think of is how can we get it done quick?
Yeah.
How can we not do it sustainable? Yeah. Because we want fast results. Mm-hmm. We don't just want to enjoy the journey. We want to get there and that's it. But throughout this whole process, I did start the wrong way. And then my wife, again, she was right. Yes, I'll say that on record over and over again. I joined the gym, and she says, well, you have that free personal training session. Why don't you use it? And I'm like, all right. So I did, and I used that first training session, and my trainer then, his name was Marston, puts me on a rower, and the first thing he says, row 1,000 meters for time. And I'm like, what? Why? No, and I did, and it was awful. But then it was one of the most amazing things because being that heavy, I didn't have the knee pain. I didn't hurt afterwards. So rowing is low impact. And I fell in love right then and there. Then I followed him into the CrossFit world. And as you can see in one of those pictures, in one of the CrossFit gyms, I brought my son. That's Wyatt on the rower. And you see his little stuffed Nunu next to him on the floor. And then the other picture, that's in my basement at our old house, him rowing with me. So he started to gradually row with me all the time. And he actually just rode with me at Row House and hit his 50,000 meter milestone with me.
What?
And then you see
awesome.
In that bottom picture, the whole family's involved. So my wife rows with me, my daughter rows, everybody comes and rows together. And we've done this, like, yes, it started with me. But as I started, and like I said, you know, not being that proper role model for my family, as I started to change me, well, my family started to change too. Because the differences that I was starting to make in my life, that one little step at a time, that winning one day at a time, well, it started to fall onto them. And then one of my really rewarding moments throughout this whole journey was about 2 years ago, I did this program called 75 Hard. And 75 Hard, you do 5 things a day. You read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, something that's self-help, business type book. You do 2 workouts a day. One has to be outdoors. They're 45 minutes each. Take a self-progress photo a day. Drink a gallon of water a day, and just pick a diet you can stick to. It doesn't have to be any certain diet. And during that time, I hate running. But I decided I was going to push myself, and I was going to run every day. And I ran every night, except one night, the weather was like, I don't want to go run. So I brought my rower outside, and it was probably like 10 o'clock at night. I have my headphones in, I'm out past the garage, so I'm still outdoors, and my daughter comes out, and she's about the same age as my son at the time when he said, I want a big tummy like you when I get big. So she was around 3 or 4, and she comes over, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Like, why are you up? Thinking she had a bad dream or something? And she says, Daddy, I'm proud of you. I said, what? For what? She said, for always doing what you say, for taking care of the family, for taking care of you. And now from going from that, Daddy, I want a big tummy like you, to Daddy, I'm proud of you, and seeing that change that I'm not just making in me,
Jason.
but in my family.
If you make me cry, Jason.
It makes me cry and tear up, because if it wasn't for the honest words of a child and me being willing to accept it, I wouldn't change my life. And having that whole career through EMS and every other career that I've had in my life, that purpose that I found is helping other people.
Of helping individuals. I mean, let's show the picture of your dramatic change, and then I want you to give us some tips, because they say that people that start any type of goal, especially like weight loss or whatever, they usually fail like 6 times. How many times do you think you failed?
Countless amounts of times.
Define we tend to be very hard on ourselves. They put up the picture, but I wanted folks to see such a dramatic change. Now, this change took how many years?
So right away, within like the first 4 months, I lost about 60 pounds.
Wow.
And a friend of mine was a gastroenterologist, and he says, you battle with your weight your whole life. Why don't you think about a gastric sleeve? So I did, and I really thought about it. And you have to go through 6 months of counseling. So I started to go through that counseling, and I lost that 60 pounds pretty quickly. And I walked into the office, and I remember clear as day, this doctor, she says, Jason, if you want to have this surgery, you have to gain some weight. Otherwise, your insurance won't pay for it.
What?
And I said, thank you for that. I shook their hand, I stood up, I walked out of that office, and I never went back.
It sounds like you were already thinking, like, maybe I don't want to do this.
How about a high five? Like, you're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, keep putting your health forward. You're doing this. You're doing it on your own. We're proud of you. No, gain weight? Like, I'm trying to lose the weight. Don't tell me to gain the weight. What? But that was that extra motivation that I needed to keep going. But then not just do it for me, but to learn more about nutrition, to learn more about how I can do a little bit more and more each day to make it sustainable, to make it last.
So the exercise was only part of it, right?
Oh, yes.
What are the other things that you did that you would give somebody as advice about? And really, 2 things kind of stuck out to me as you were talking. One is family, yes. And that is the honest truth. Because if you're doing something by yourself, you still have to cook and do whatever for your family. So if you're able to get them all on the same kind of regimen, it's definitely helpful for somebody to help you. So family, and just talking about the sticking with it. So tell us a few of like tips that would help, because exercise is not enough. Besides that, I'm going to throw another question. I had never heard of rowing. So, and there's a lot of sites, right, where people can go to find a row house. Right, so tell me a little bit about the row house, and then we'll get into like the tips.
So the row house, we offer 45-minute boutique fitness sessions, and they're revolved around the rowing machine. So the rower is low impact, so it's not like running, right? You use 86% of the muscles in your body as you row. So most people think rowing, well, it's all arms and upper body. Actually, it's 60% legs, 30% the hinge in the hips, so you have a lot of core strength involved, and only 10% in the arm. So as you pull, you're using arms, but it's a lot of back muscles as well. So you're using your entire body, but the bigger thing that I love about rowing is mindset. Right? It's a mental challenge, because what happens, your hands are involved, your body's involved. You can't scroll your phone while you're rowing. You're on a treadmill, you can scroll your phone, because I'm guilty of that. And cycling, you're sitting there pedaling, you know how often I pedal, and I got a movie going, and then all of a sudden I'm also flipping through my phone too, and my mindset is not there. When you're rowing, your hands are occupied, your feet are occupied, you're moving up and down the slide. Everything is occupied, and you have to be present in that moment. So you have to be there. And
where can people find you if they wanted to get like more information?
So our studio is in Monroe in the Big Y Plaza. It's called the Row House. And we're always there, and we love to help people. We would love for people to come out and give it a try. People that think like, oh, I have a bad knee. Me too. That's the first thing they say.
Hobbling along in here, coming in here.
I have 3 herniated discs in my back. I have a torn MCL in my right knee. I have a bad rotator cuff, but you know what? Rowing I can do every day, and I don't have that pain. That's why I love it.
How long do you suggest that, whether it's this, I think the message that we're trying to portray here is that obviously you're not alone, right? Because
No.
if you're involving your family or somebody else that can be an accountability partner,
Yes.
right? That to kind of like stick with it, because your journey from here to there was 8 years. And then the tips. So give us tips that, regardless of what type of exercise, these are the things that are helpful, especially from, a subject matter expert in that you're a fitness coach.
So some of the big things here is mindset. Get your mindset right. 2, give yourself grace. Right? We can't, we are our own worst critics.
Caller, hold on one moment, okay?
Right? We are our own worst critics, but we have to give ourselves grace. If we fall off, if we miss a day, it's okay. Just get right back on.
Don't feel
use
guilty,
it as
right?
the whole week. Well, this day is completely done, so let me just get off it, and I'll start again next week. No, just get right back on.
Yeah, and
It's
don't feel
okay.
guilty about it.
No.
So Jason, we've got a question. Hello and welcome to Connecticut at your service. Do you have a question for Jason?
Hi, yes. My first thing, I just wanted to congratulate Jason on his journey. He's a great storyteller, and I feel super engaged. I'm rooting for you too.
Thank
I
you.
guess my question is now that you've started this journey and you see progress, do you have any new goals that you might want to make?
That's
So
a good question.
there's constant goals, and I think as we progress through our journey, our goals start to change more and more. And one of my biggest things is getting more active in the community and helping more people. How can I help the people in our community? How can I get people engaged? And I say that, find me on social media. You have a question, DM me, because you know what? I'll respond, because I am there to help people. I'm not there to try and sell something. I am there to genuinely help people. That is my purpose in life, is to help others. And I believe that when we go through this whole journey, you know what? Now I have experience because I've gone through it, and I can sympathize too. I have that empathy where I've been there, so I understand.
And they see you as somebody who's done. Let's show that picture again of the before and after. I mean, this is huge. So thank you so much, caller. Did you have another question?
That was all. Thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you, and thanks for calling, and keep watching. Yeah, so I love that. So go back and tell me the tips again, because the phone rang and it threw me off. And I want to make sure I'm paying attention, because my husband's going to ask me when I get home.
Definitely stay on course. Have the mindset there, but yes, find yourself an accountability partner. Right? Find a friend, a family member, somebody who wants to do it with you, and also that you can hold accountable. Because you know what, you're not just going to find somebody that can always keep you accountable, but you need to hold somebody accountable too. Get your nutrition in check, slowly. You don't have to go drastic. Start to learn about what works for your body, because I don't think that there's one cookie cutter diet that works for everybody. There's all types of diets, but you have to know what your body needs. Everybody's needs in their body are different. So find out what works for you and take it slow. Don't rush into it, because it's a long journey. But that journey is so worth it. I promise you that. I look back across the last 8 years and I'm so thankful for the journey, because I've learned so much and I continue to learn each and every day. And more things happen. Just this past weekend, we set out with this goal. There's a challenge called the 4x4x48, where every 4 hours I did this running, and it started with this guy named David Goggins, and he's a little bit crazy. This is why I love him. But you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. But I converted this and did it rowing. And I always talked about it in my classes, because I like to deliver a message to people that I'm coaching. It's not just about the fitness, but I try and involve life stories and things that have happened to me, because I know somebody else is going through something, and I hope that my words can help somebody else through something they're
And
going
motivate
through.
them, or help them see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know?
Exactly. And as I talked about this journey, as I did it running, and I wanted to switch it and have it rowing. Well, we did it this past weekend. So we rowed together almost 1 million meters in 48 hours. There was 3 of us that committed to do the entire thing, but there was so many of our members that came out to support us, to hang out with us, and to row one of the sessions, that part of watching the community become stronger and everybody there to support each other became so rewarding. So watching that and have that community aspect of being built because it's not just about the workout in the room, it's about the other people in the room. And it's one of the big sayings at Row House is, push yourself, but pull together. There's an old saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And then like those other tips, one of the things we have is win the day, right? So just think of the things that you need to accomplish for your day. If it's that workout, check it off on that box. If it's your nutrition, stick to it. Make a plan and win it for the day. If you don't win that day, you're going to go to the next day and you're going to win that day. Have the mindset right, find yourself an accountability partner, and get your nutrition there. So just quick couple of things, just move. I really believe that movement is medicine, and the more we move our body, the more we feel better.
I love that you said that. My friend Karen Kaufman, who was previously on my show, we talked about just doing that one more. If you, just one more, if you, they say drink a lot of water. So if you took that last sip, take one more. And if you've taken one step, just take one more. Really, it's about doing more than what you're doing right now. I wanted to give a shout out to my daughter, Stephanie, who after the beginning of the year, she set kind of like goals. But one of the things I thought was incredible is not only like she getting herself right and going to the doctor and just seeing, kind of like, why do I feel this way? I want to feel better. But one of the things she found out was that her insurance company actually has incentives for you living right, going to the doctor in advance, walking or doing whatever. And she's got an app on her phone. And I just think that whatever motivates you, like I was telling her, we were speaking, I think, what's today, Monday? Sunday or Monday, I don't remember when we were talking. And I was talking to her, I was like, you know what? I'm like inspired by the fact that, and I love when people say, this is what I'm gonna do, and they do.
Yes.
I tend to like start, and then I get derailed, and then I come back, like when I do my computer, and then I close my computer, I'm like, damn, I started like 10 things, I didn't finish. So I love people who have that motivation. I was particularly inspired by your story because you didn't get gastric bypass. You did it with your family. You did it with healthy eating. You motivate other people. And that's really what this show is about. What is it that you can do to create a better world? Bettering yourself, bringing along your family, and then engaging the community. So I want to know a little bit more of Row House, and now that you are the new GM, kind of where do you see Row House going with your high level of community engagement?
So we already have, as a brand, there's over 100 row houses across the nation. So that's really one great thing, that it's not just here, but you know what? If you're on vacation and there's a row house there, you can still stay on track and row there. So it's not just about that, but we also love to open our doors to the community for fundraisers, for community awareness, for donations to the food pantry, and also like businesses. If they want a team building event, and I do these at absolutely no charge. Why? Because I love it, and I love what I do, and to bring people together, especially think about the workplace environment. You have people that, there's little things going on here and there. Get in my row room. We're gonna put you on rowers. I bet you whatever's going on in the office, we're gonna work it out in that row room right then and there. Because one of the things we do is row and swing. So everybody's rowing together at the same time. You're going up and down that slide at the same time. And everybody's different. Everybody has different paths in their life. And we're all on the same path. We're all going to the same place.
Even though you're staying still, but we're all rowing to the same place.
But we're all in those different lanes of the highway per se, right? But we're all in different cars in different lanes, but we're all going to the same place. So as we get in there and we're working together, it starts to build more of that camaraderie together that I think the world needs more of.
So how do people find out about your special events or anything like that? How, or even to reach you? How do they find that?
You can go to therowhouse.com or even find us on Instagram. We're much more active on Instagram, and you can DM us right on Instagram. It's just instagram.com/rowhouse Monroe. Or they can just find me on social media, and I promise you I'll answer you. Call me, I'm here. I am here to help people. That is my mission, and it will make me happy to help others.
So give me your top 5 advice to anybody that wants to change their life. Just, it doesn't matter if it's weight or anything like that, because you said that you started each one of your row sessions with kind of like a motivational kind of tidbit. So give me your top 5.
Top 5. Let's see. First one is just start. Because you know what
Okay.
the heaviest thing, most likely, anybody that walks through my doors, what the heaviest weight they ever had to lift was? That door handle. So start one step. That's all you have to take, just one step.
One more.
2, find yourself somebody to do it with. Because I struggled a lot in the beginning thinking I could do it all alone, do it all by myself. And I did for a long time, and I really pushed by myself. And you know what? I found that there was power in numbers, and that as you do it together, you start to find other people on similar paths. You start to build friendships and community as well. So that also helps to keep you going. And then find out your nutrition that really works for you. Don't just pick a diet because you find it. Find something that works for you, whether you have to work with your doctor, your nutritionist, your group of friends, and just ping pong things back to see what works. That's 3. 4, keep going. 5, this is a big one. Take progress photos. Photos. Why? You don't have to show anybody either. This is the magic sauce. You ready? If you take a picture, you see the pictures that I have there, and I look back at those pictures and see how far I've come. Because I'll be completely honest, sometimes I look in the mirror and I still see that guy.
Yeah.
Right? It's really hard to
I've heard that with people
push
that are,
past, but I still see that person that I used to be so often. So when I look back at those photos and then I look now, I see how far that I've actually come, and that's rewarding. But also, if you want a little trick for nutrition, take a picture of your food before you eat it. Why? It's going to make you think about what you're eating, and also you have a quick little log of what you have been eating. So if you're thinking about the nutrition plan, just take a picture. Take a picture of yourself each and every day. It's going to make you flow through how far you've come, how you feel each day, because you're going to see it in those photos. And it's almost going to be just documenting your journey across that whole period of time. And it will hold you accountable because you got to take that picture each day.
I love that. So we've been spending the evening with Jason Henriques from Row House. He's the general manager, just wonderful in giving advice. We're going to show his before and after picture one more time so that people see what the drastic change has been in his moving forward. And this is
60 pounds.
160 pounds from rowing. Not gastric, just exercise with help from his family and his friend.
Yes.
Jason, I'm going to give you the last few seconds to who would you like to thank? And because I know you have a team, I know you thank your family a lot.
My whole family, my whole team at Row House, and just the community that people come out. But one more thing I have to really thank is the people that go through the journey, because you're someone's role model. So just going on your journey as it is, somebody who looks up to you, you might have never met in your life. But as you're posting things on social media, or you're getting up early to go to the gym, and your neighbor across the street is looking out the window because your headlights are shining in there, but you know what? You're motivating them. So you're motivating someone around you without even knowing it. So the people that are doing that, that's who I thank, because the world needs more people like you. So thank you.
Jason, thank you. We need more people like you who are willing to share their story. So again, Jason, thank you so much. We want to thank our community for always being here, for listening, for so many people in all our surrounding towns that are making a difference in their work and beyond. I want to thank our crew, Ricky, Terry, Jose, who's not here today. We're all volunteers doing this, and we want you to remember that you make a difference. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 6:30. We'll see you then.